At a family reunion this year, you are going to say 6 words to your brother. 6 harmless words I have been saving a lot. 6 months later, those 6 words will have cost you $27,000. And something you cannot buy back at any price, the ability to sit at that table as a person instead of as a number. No insult, no bragging. Just 6 ordinary words, said to a brother who asked how the business was going. Let me put you in the room when you say them. The room almost everyone with a little money eventually walks into, and show you, in dollars you can count, exactly how a sentence that harmless takes you apart. You are 32 years old. You just crossed $200,000 in net worth for the first time. 7 years to get there? No inheritance. No windfall? A side business. A brutal savings rate. And the patience to leave it alone. Nobody in your family has ever built anything like it. And you are proud. Quietly. At first. Then comes the reunion. Not a dinner for 4. The big one. Close to 20 relatives. The cousins you see once a year. The family friend who married in a decade ago and never left. Your brother asks how the business is going. And you let it slip. Things are good. I have been saving a lot. No number. Not even the word wealthy. 6 words. And a seal you did not know you were carrying quietly breaks open. Watch what happens. Because almost no one gets this right. The damage is not that they now know you have money and start to envy you. It is quieter than envy. And it is worse. The moment those 6 words land, something flips in the listener. Underneath the level of choice, your money stops being your money in their mind. It turns into a resource, sitting out in the open. And a brain trained by 100 years of conditioning reads an open resource as an unpaid debt. Not he is rich. Something closer to there is something there. Just sitting. That I have got a claim on. You handed nobody a number. You handed them permission to imagine one. And to feel quietly owed against it. And now you are stuck in a trap you built yourself. With no clean way out. 2 weeks later your brother calls. He has a business idea. He needs $12,000. No plan. No timeline. Just a certainty that did not exist a month ago. Look at what the number did to your options. Sigh yes. And the 12 grand is gone. Say no. And you have not actually turned down a loan. You have confirmed the math that formed at that table. The money exists. And you are the one keeping it from him. You did not write that math. The 6 words did. But you are the one who has to live inside it. Once your number is in the room, every answer you give gets measured against a balance you never showed anyone. And none of them come out clean. 3 weeks later, your cousin calls. A medical emergency. Except when you ask. It is elective surgery. $7,000. You say yes again. Because the only way to say no is to confirm that math a second time. 6 weeks in. An old friend you have not heard from in a year suddenly remembers you. A restaurant idea. $20,000. This one you finally turned down. And the no travels. Not as smart call. But as he has got it. And he kept it. You, the guy who built something out of nothing, are now a story other people tell at their own dinners. Here is the part that separates this from every bitter rant you have heard. Nobody at that table woke up planning to take from you. Your brother is not a villain. Your cousin is not a thief. They are running the exact same program you are. The one that reads an open resource as a claim. They are as caught in it as you are. But caught does not mean harmless. It means the danger is in the wiring, not the person. The $19,000 is gone whether or not anyone ever stopped loving you. The seal did not break because your family is bad. It broke because you opened it in a world built to reach for anything it can see. So let me put the real number on the table. Itemized. Because a number you cannot itemize is a number you should not trust. The first loss you can count to the dollar. $12,000 to your brother. 7 to your cousin. 19,000. Gone. In checks you actually wrote. The second loss you can also count. But it hides. Once the room understood where you stand, the price of your ordinary life quietly went up. It is the surcharge you start paying for being the relative who made it. The dinners that quietly become yours to cover. The contractor who pads the estimate because you can obviously absorb it. The family costs that just route to you now. None of it feels like a wound in the moment. Over 2 honest years. Call it another $8,000. So, put it together, $19,000 in checks you actually wrote. And 27. Once the invisible surcharge of being known is added in, out of one sentence, and then the loss you cannot put on any line. The one that should keep you up at night. That $27,000 was not spare cash. Left alone. Compounding from age 32. It was the seed of something many times its size. And 32 is one of the last windows where starting early still changes the ending. You did not just lose 27 grand. You lost everything it would have become. Over the only decades it could have. The market did not fail you. Your mouth got to the money first. Now, a sentence that harmless should not be able to do all that. So why can it? Because you are standing on the wrong side of a rule older than your country, and on the receiving end of a machine that someone built. On purpose. To make sure you break it. 2 names explain the whole thing. And by the time you have both, you will know exactly which one was running your mouth at that table. One family kept the rule for 200 years. The other man is the reason you cannot. But before we go and meet them, take the fix with you now. It is only 5 words long. When anyone asks how you are doing, you answer, "We are okay." Working hard. That is the entire defense. Right now it will sound far too small to matter. And it will keep sounding too small. Until you see why one of those 2 names makes those 5 words almost impossible to say. And the other proves they are the most powerful thing you own. Both answers are older than you think. Go back to a dark road in June of 1815. A courier rides through the night from a battlefield in Belgium toward the coast of England, carrying one piece of news that could move every market in Europe before sunrise. That Napoleon has lost at Waterloo. He is racing to a man named Nathan Rothschild. The legend says Nathan was, for a few hours, the only man in London who knew the future. Now, I will be straight with you, because the honesty is the whole point. Historians argue about that night. The dramatic version. One genius cornering the market in an afternoon got stretched for 2 centuries. Some of it by people who hated the family. So do not hang anything on the trade. Hang it on the rule underneath. Because that part holds. Across 5 countries and a dozen generations. The Rothschilds ran on one discipline, know what others do not. Act on it. And never announce it. They were not the loudest bankers in Europe. They were the quietest. That was not humility. It was armor. Money nobody can see is money nobody can tax. Sway. Or come asking for. The loud families of every European capital wore their fortunes as palaces, and got slowly bled white by them. The Rothschilds let the world guess low. For 200 years, the world guessed low. That is the seal you broke at the dinner table. Silence. Worn as a piece of financial armor, which leaves the only question that matters if staying quiet is that powerful. Why is every instinct in your body screaming at you to do the opposite? That instinct is not natural. At least, not at the strength you feel it. The urge itself is ancient, but its intensity was engineered. And we know the name of the man who built the machine that does the engineering. Edward Bernays. Bernays was Sigmund Freud's nephew, and he did something with his uncle's ideas that Freud never dreamed of. He aimed the unconscious mind at selling. The phrase public relations exists because of him. He coined it. Because after the First World War, the word propaganda had gone sour, and he needed a cleaner label for the same work. In 1928, he wrote a book that said the quiet part out loud, that steering the habits of the masses is what runs a modern society. And the men who run that hidden machine are the real government. Then he proved it. American Tobacco hired him because half their market was closed. In that era, women did not smoke in public. Bernays ran no ad arguing they should. He staged a moment instead. He paid a group of fashionable young women to march in the New York City Easter Parade and, on his signal, light cigarettes together on Fifth Avenue. And he tipped off the papers in advance with the line to print. These were not cigarettes. They were torches of freedom. A blow for women's liberation. The papers ran it as news. Almost overnight, smoking stopped being a vice and became a statement of who you were. He had not won an argument. He had welded a product onto an identity people wanted: free, modern, equal. And the behavior followed, with no argument at all. While everyone swore the choice was their own, the urge to be seen winning is older than Bernays. It is older than money. What Bernays did was turn it into a machine, something you could manufacture on demand, in millions of people who would each swear the idea was theirs. The industry he fathered spent the next 100 years welding one specific reflex onto your sense of self: make your success visible. And you are somebody. The driveway, the watch, the upgrade, the little announcement at dinner. Now watch how that machine reaches all the way to your brother's $12,000 phone call. Because this is the step the bitterness misses. First, the program teaches you that a win has to be seen, so you let it slip. Second, the same program ran on everyone at that table their whole lives, so they read your visible win as status, as a number. And third, the step that does the real damage because they are family. That status converts into something a stranger's number never would. Acclaim. Visible success becomes expectation. Inside a family, expectation becomes obligation. Bernays built the first step. Closeness does the rest. So when you crossed $200,000 and the first thing you felt was the pull to tell your brother, that pull was neither pride nor weakness. It was a reflex manufactured for your grandparents before they were born, then sharpened into the phone in your pocket. Social media is that machine finished? A stage that never closes, paying you a small hit of reassurance every single time you disclose. They call it engagement. Engagement is a polite word for disclosure. On that stage, you were never the customer. Your broadcasting was the product. You are not guilty for the impulse. You did not install it. You only become responsible in the 1 second after you can finally see it. Because here is the turn: Bernays is not going to pay your rent. The men he trained, and the men they trained, will not stop broadcasting your position the second you stop believing in them. The rule is in your hands now, whether you like it or not. So you treat your financial position the way the Rothschilds treated theirs, as a sealed letter, something you carry, and never break open at a dinner table. And the first thing to settle is who, in your whole life, you can ever hand that letter to. Run the test in your own head. Imagine it is 1815, and you are the one holding the sealed letter, a full accounting of everything you own, every account, every holding, your real number. And you have to send it across hostile country. It goes one direction. It cannot be recalled. And here is what almost everyone gets wrong. The question is not, who do I trust? Trust is the wrong frame. The question is, for each person in your life, what level of that letter does their role actually require? This is not about cutting people off. And it is not about hiding from the people who love you. Your accountant needs the figures, not the family. Your spouse stands inside the letter with you. You are one ledger, not two. Your parents, if they are good people who love you, need exactly one line: you are okay. You are comfortable. They do not have to worry. This is not distrust. The number adds nothing to a parent's love. It can only add weight. The one exception is the rare home with a parent who is genuinely unsafe around money. And you already know if that is yours. Everyone else, the cousins, the old friends, the group chat, needs nothing. They are not enemies. Their role just does not require the letter. So go down the list of people in your life and ask, for each one, the only question that counts: what is the minimum they actually need to know? Be honest. Most people find something quietly unsettling, that for years they handed the whole letter to people whose role called for a single line, and called it closeness. You called it closeness. It was really a mix-up between affection and information security. Those are two different things. And learning the difference tonight is worth more than any tactic I could hand you. That discipline comes down to sealing 5 specific leaks, and they get harder to control as we go. which is the order you have to learn them in. The first leak is timing. The most dangerous second of your financial life is the one right after a win. The raise. The milestone. The closed deal. Because that is when the manufactured urge to announce runs hottest. The rule is short, and it is brutal. The bigger the win. The longer the silence. The moment you most want to say it is the moment you say nothing. The urge passes. It always passes. A win does not need a witness to be real. The second leak is the word. And you already have the fix. I handed it to you before the history. Now you know the two forces it has to beat. The same 5 words. Every time someone asks how you are doing, we are okay. Working hard. Not a number. Not a hint. Not the modest little brag wearing humility as a costume. 6 words cost you $27,000. These 5 cost you nothing. Use them at the reunion. In the group chat. When your brother asks at Christmas. When your oldest friend asks over a beer. The families who mastered that one sentence kept what they built. The ones who could not watched it leave. One loan at a time. The third leak is display. Everything the word can do. Your stuff does louder. A new car announces your number to the whole street. A watch tells every room you walk into that you are carrying a surplus. A bigger house invites the neighborhood to audit your accounts from the curb. So you flip it. You upgrade only what nobody can see. The portfolio. The rainy day fund. What you know. Let the things that compound grow. And let the things that depreciate stay quiet. The car stays older than it has to. Call that living poor if you want. Really, it is just the gap between what you have got and what you look like you have got. And that gap is the safest place your money will ever sit. Those first 3 you can hold on your own. With nothing but discipline. The last 2 are harder. Because they do not run on your willpower. They run on other people. And other people leak. The fourth leak is the confidant. People fight this one because it sounds cold. There is nothing cold about it. It is compartmentalization. Nobody outside your own head should ever hold enough pieces to draw your whole map. Your accountant has the numbers but not the life. Your mentor, if you have got one, has the strategy but not the balance. Your spouse is inside the letter with you. The one ledger you keep together. Everyone past that holds a fragment. Never the whole thing. Nobody has to betray you for it to leak. A complete map sitting in a second head can spill without anyone ever meaning to. And the fifth leak is the one almost nobody plans for. Because it opens after you are gone. The heir, you can keep your own letter sealed for 50 years and still lose all of it. Because the seal is not inherited. Your kids will broadcast everything you spent a life protecting. Unless you hand them the one thing that actually guards it. And I do not mean the number. Telling your kids the size of what is coming ruins them a different way. I mean the discipline itself. The habit of quiet, taught young. So it is theirs before they have got anything to flex. The family does not announce. Does not perform. Does not hand strangers the letter. You are not leaving your kids a number to spend. You are leaving them the discipline that keeps a number safe. The only inheritance that survives the world Bernays built. That is the leak you close last. And it is the one that outlives you. Here is what almost nobody will tell you. And it is why this is not a cold way to live. A sealed letter is not how you hide from the people you love. It is how you stay able to show up for them when it actually counts. Think about what the open letter really costs. It is not mainly the $19,000. It is that you cannot just be family with these people anymore. There is a number at the table now. Sitting in the empty chair. Doing quiet arithmetic while the food goes around. The sealed letter hands that chair back. And it guards something bigger. The money you never put on display is the money that is actually there the day your family hits something real. A real illness. A real collapse. The kind no elective surgery story can fake. The man who broadcast his number spent it 100 small times over. On performances. Then the real call comes. Nothing left. The man who kept the seal still has it. He can quietly write the check that matters. For the person who matters. With nobody keeping score. Quiet money and generous money are not opposites. Quiet money is the only kind still there the day generosity actually counts. And at the very end, Picture the long table at your own funeral. The people who came for a number will recite the number. Measure it against what they expected. Tell a story about how much you had. The people who came for you will not name a figure at all, because they never knew one. Because for every reunion of your adult life, you answered the money question with 5 words and nothing more. Those are the ones whose feeling for you was never poisoned by a balance sheet. The discipline was never about hoarding. It was about getting to that last table surrounded by people who are not doing math in their heads while they say your name. So the next time you are at a long table, and someone leans in and asks the question they have been running since you walked through the door, you already know the 5 words. And every time those 5 words come out of your mouth instead of a number, you are doing what the Rothschilds did for 2 centuries, moving what matters without ever announcing it. You are not hiding anything. You are protecting the only people who will still be standing there after the number is gone. The ones who cared about you before they ever knew it. The sealed letter is yours now. Carry it. But an empty letter is just paper. The seal only protects what is already inside the ship. And your ship has not been built yet. The first thing finally worth sealing at all is your first real $10,000. And almost nobody earns it without being destroyed on the way. There is a table waiting 20 years before the funeral one. A closed office. A Tuesday morning. A man whose account has run to almost nothing. His mouth opening on the one word he cannot stop. Yes. The harbor where he was meant to build his ship was flooded on purpose. In 1958. To keep him a loose plank in the current. That is the next road. Almost nobody walks out of it whole. And the few who do all learn the one thing, the rest never will.